All right, my beautiful people. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome. Let's get cranking here. Say hello to each other in the chat. If you're brand new, there's a little chat button, whether you're on your phone or you are on your desktop or laptop or whatever cool device is out there today. Say hello to each other. Let me welcome all of you that are brand new who joined over the last 24 to 48 hours. Welcome. This is what we do. Let me know about your live stream experience. There is no delay. It is real time. That's the benefit of the app. So I am going to close this window here. Hey, Mike, thanks. Rex, hello. Asborn, hello. Julian, Adrian. I'm going to call you Eddie. EDYTA. I don't want to butcher your name, young lady. Robert, hello. Eva, hello. Janie, hello. Rajesh, hello. Justin, hello. Jad, hello. T2, hello. We are going to get started. Hey, Josh, hello. Good to see some of our newer members here. So that is awesome. Are just popping in here. All right, so I am going to close this. And actually, real quick, before I go back to the live stream, let me welcome again all of you on a full screen here. I'm going to kind of close up the chat here for just a minute. So this is the in-app experience. And when I say in-app, again, you can watch this from your phone, or you can log into your account on any web browser, okay, Chrome, Safari, log into the network with your credentials, and then you can see this on a bigger screen. So don't get confused. I've had a few members message me over the last few weeks. Hey, what do you mean in-app? I can't watch it on my computer? Absolutely. Okay, any device. I sometimes put this up on my huge screen in my living room because I'm logged into my laptop and I just see it on the full screen. So anywhere you can log in, browser or app, you are good to go. Secondly is, I just want to kind of get this off the table here real quick. If you're brand new, there's going to be terms that you hear that you may not understand yet. Give it time and you will. I am working on a few, again, beginner type of videos for those that come in brand new, understanding what a pip is, a tick on futures. So when I say pips, ticks, or points, right, they all kind of mean the same thing. It all depends on what platform you are trading in, okay? They have a little bit of a different meaning, but when I say we're going to catch 20 pips or 20 points, it's a price difference on crude oil. If we start at 72 and it goes to 72.20, that is 20 pips. What do you call it? Clicks, ticks, whatever you want to call it, okay? So I'm going to let you define it, but that's how we price move it. So when I say we secure at 20, right, we want to cash in. Secondly is, if you're brand new, I kind of explained this to one of our members privately this morning, maybe your way of trading, again, if you're on futures, I know usually you can do, contracts, but it averages out. For example, for me on Thinkorswim, right, it's an average. If you're on a Forex trade side, you can do both buys and sells, but you can enter multiple positions. It's not an average. So maybe entering in 2 positions, right? If you originally were going to trade, let's say $1 a pip on the Forex side, cut it down to 50 cents. So you go in 2 entries, right? When the first one goes 20 pips, you secure the bag. You grab 20 and you close that trade. On the second contract or second entry, when you're up 20 pips, instead of cashing out, if you want to let this one be a runner, okay, you move your stop loss into entry. And if this goes up 40, then you move the break even up 20, so you're guaranteed 20. If it goes up 60, you move it up to 40. So you're trailing it by every 20. Never let a winner turn into a loser. But at the end of the day, if you have 100 break evens, that doesn't grow your account. That doesn't help you pay your bills, right? On the future side, same thing. I think on Thinkorswim, well, I know on Thinkorswim you can do this. You can actually set it to where it moves up percentages with you, or ticks with you. I don't know about the other platforms, so you don't have to really do it manually anyways. If you trade on TradingView, okay, with one of the account brokers that are there, I believe you can also have that set up to it. It moves it for you so you don't have to monitor it. So I just want to kind of throw out some basic terms here at the beginning before we get into the charts for those of you that might be, a little bit newer. So let's go ahead and get into crude oil. I did see we had a nice pullback, okay, on crude oil here. So this is still an active trade. Congratulations. So many of you have messaged me talking about you've got your pips, you secured, you're good to go. And I just want to make sure that you can see the screen again. If you can see the screen, drop the number 1 in the chat. If you can see the screen, drop the number 1 in the chat. Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, so we had a pullback, right? We had a pullback. I gave you these zones at the beginning of the week, okay? We've held strong, right? This has been a good zone, right? We came back down. Well, this was earlier last week, okay? And then we gave you this trade setup coming from this area here, okay? So let's kind of take a look at what crude oil is doing right now. Let's grab a fib level because I can just tell from this fib retracement, we probably came down near the 50 or so. Oh my gosh, look at that. Perfectly, the 61.8. Okay, so that is where we're rebounded off the 61.8, which is right here. So again, you will hear me say this every once in a while. If you're brand new, I get it. It's going to take a little bit of time and terminology, but every time you see these big candles, okay, let me move this out of the way. Every time you see these big type of institutional, we call these institutional candles, okay, this is big money moving price, okay? Price had moved all the way up and then came back down. So what happens in these cases, for the most part, nothing is 100% secure, is they come down to grab liquidity. Liquidity just means where there's a lot of money sitting there, right? Let's take a look at this example right here with this green candle and this red candle right in here, right? We had a major money was introduced to push price up. Well, the market came back and it wicked. When it wicked right here, okay? That's about 80% of this candle. They went and grabbed. So they entered buys, they entered sells, they grab all this money going down on sells. They don't mind taking this short little loss because they're in trillions and trillions of dollars, and then they move the market back for more buys in their direction, okay? So you'll see that often right here, a big red candle down. Look at the wick, about 50% of the candle. They came to grab institutional money, and then they continued moving the market down, right? So you'll see this from time to time. Nothing is 100%. This happens on every candle. You very rarely see a candle that does not have a wick. That's because they're grabbing liquidity at different points of the candle, okay? So we are here now on crude oil, okay? So it is 10:02 Eastern Standard Time. There's usually going to be another push pretty soon. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. I'm actually going to close this off right here so we can begin to look at the price action, okay? So I'm going to back this up. I like the 8-hour chart, right? That's what we're on right now. So I'm going to kind of back this up so you can kind of just take a look a little bit at the price action, what's going on here. Now, you can see here that between January 1st, which was here, okay, and down here, January 3rd, we're kind of in this area. And let me go over real quick. Who is Jenny on the other side of those trades? Okay, Julian, let me get back over here. That's all bankers, man. That's all institutional money. Okay, that's not you and I. Those are the big players. All right. I actually want to go and put this back on. Okay, so real quick, if you are watching here, okay, I am going to be deleting this real quick. So if you need to take a screenshot of these zones again, take a screenshot of these zones on your computer or on your phone so you can have them, because I'm going to be deleting this, and then I will redo these later on today because I want to show you some other stuff on a higher time frame. Okay, so if you need to take a screenshot of these zones, and so I can read them out to you. This bottom one, 67.50. This next red one, 69.25. I'm just going to give you the roundabout numbers. This one here, 71.60. You can make it 50. Up here, 74, 75, 76, and about 78. Okay, those are the major zones that I found on the bigger time frames. Okay, we are moving up on crude oil. So let me show you this here. And again, this is still an active trade. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this now because I want to get to the point where you can trust your price action. Okay, so I want to kind of go back over here real quick. Hopefully you have watched the Fibs training. I'll be doing another one again coming up pretty soon. But again, this just gives you a nice perspective, right? We take this low to this high. This was back on the 4th of January in June. I'm sorry, on Thursday. We came back down, hit the 61.8 perfectly. Okay, so you've got to just continue to look. Does it mean we're always going to hit the 61.8 perfectly? No. If the markets always did that, right, we would all be in our yachts sitting out somewhere, right? But it's a great starting point. I don't take anything before the 61.8. I rather miss a trade than to get in too early and then have a whole bunch of drawdown or it doesn't go in my direction. So I always wait to at least the 61.8, right around this area. Okay. Understand that these are zones. It's not a specific price, right? So when you look at the 61.8, it looks more like this. It's an area. Okay. It's never an exact point. Okay. It will hit a lot of times perfectly if you mark up your Fibonacci, but understand that it could be, plus or minus 5-10 points on crude oil. Okay. And that's kind of the same thing here, right? We came from this low, which started here. We came up to the high, which was that wick, right? And we came down to the 61.8. Okay. So if we look at the overall price action, and I want to go over to the day chart real quick. And this is really why I like the US session versus the other session, because by now, a lot of times they've kind of tipped their hand on, for the most part, where at least the day is, right? It gives us a chance to grab our 20, our 40, and get out of the market for the day, okay? So when you look at this, you can see here that, look at this backwards, okay? If you look at this backwards now, right, just to kind of do a little bit of teaching at the same time, if we go from where this high started down to this low, right, look where price went up to, the 61.8, okay? You see, you can't dispute probabilities, and that's the beautiful thing about Fibonacci levels. They're just higher probabilities, right? So this is why I wait to at least the 61.8. A lot of times you'll see on my charts, I'll go deeper into like the 78.6 area to see if I can get a better price, right? If I'm going to sell, I'm going to sell from up here based on fib levels, because I always know that, at least for me, right, you have to get out by the 100. So I can already kind of put this as a bracket, and it gives me an idea about where I want to go. And then you always try and target the 0% line. Okay. Now I'm not marking this up as a trade right now. I'm showing you this on a daily time frame, right? You try to go to the 0. So when you see my charts, for those of you that are new, right, the number one thing you always need to do is secure 20. After 20, you have to protect it. Is it always going to go right in the hold on, I drew this backwards. You always have to assume that it's going to go to the 0, but it may not always go to the 0, right? We give you a big green area. This is just as a reference point, right? We hope it goes to that point, but you've got to grab 20, secure, and then trail your trade from there, okay? I want to stop there real quick, and I want to make sure that that makes sense, right? If you can see that, it makes sense, okay? Okay, cool. So we always secure 20, and then after that, it's you managing your trade. My goal is to give you enough confidence that you can, however, whatever platform you're in, right? I unfortunately do not know every platform. I don't pretend to know every platform. I'll tell you to go find content if I don't know it, because I'm not going to give you information just to make me seem smart, like I know everything. Like somebody asked me about yesterday, fib levels on MetaTrader 4. I don't know how to put fib levels on MetaTrader 4 because I don't use MetaTrader 4. So I'm going to send you to go find something. Okay. So, you know, we're going to give you what we know in here, and the rest we will search it and help you find it. Okay. So let me close this back up. Harry, I see your thing here. Again, we're not going to kind of give you this trade setup. I just wanted to show you that fell there from a high liquidity area. Okay. From a high liquidity area. Secondly is, and I'm not going to call anyone out. A lot of you are setting yourself up for a disastrous 2024. Let me say that again. A lot of you that I see, because I watch the chats. I mean, I can't respond to every chat. You know, I do have to worry about me and my mental health as well, meaning I got to take my breaks off the charts. I give you a lot of value in here, but I do read the chats and I see what some of you are doing. Some of you will set yourself up for continuous failure. And I'm just going to be honest with you, right? Unless you change your mindset. I see some of you still, you made your money in pips in the morning, points, clicks, ticks, whatever, and you're still trading in the afternoon. A lot of you are just so desperate to get into a trade, buy, sell, buy. You don't know what you're doing. Stick to, it is very hard to hedge unless you have some experience hedging. And hedging works, trust me. But if you're not familiar with it, stick to one side of the trade and let the trade come to you. Some of you are desperate. I can hear you in the chat. Your voice emulates in the chat. Don't be desperate. If you don't get into a trade today, it's okay. The sun is still going to set and the sun is still going to rise tomorrow. It's okay if you don't get into a trade today, right? Where is your bank account at the end of the month? That's what you should be concerned about. Not at the end at 5 o'clock today, right? So do not worry so much about trying to rush into a trade. Some of you right now are trying to get into buy, sells. There's nothing happening right now. The trade on the daytime frame happened already. It was a sell, right? We are in an active buy trade from the lower area. That's it. You had a choice to make, right? So we're going to kind of give you intraday opportunities as well. But if it's not there, do not force the trade. Right? Do not force the trade. So once the trade is given out, right? If you come to it 5 hours later and it's already 40 pips in profit, do not take that trade. Do not chase it. Wait, I'll give you an updated chart. We'll try to do some intraday stuff every day. But what I'm saying is, if it's not there, do not chase it. That's just my words of advice. So you don't continuously, always in drawdown, always hoping that your price comes back to you 4 weeks later. Meanwhile, you haven't traded for 4 weeks because you've been in such a 1,000 pip stop loss area that you have not been able to recover. And trust me, the recovery of that kind of losses is not physical, it's mental. Okay. So stop putting yourself there. If that was you in 2023, you need to change your mindset now. I'll continue to remind you about that. Right? This is why I'm so big on securing profits and then trailing profits, because you cannot hit a home run. The market's first month especially, you'll see a lot of volatility. They're settling in. There's a lot of global stuff happening. If you're not willing to secure some profits when you're in profit and cash out, then you are going to continue to struggle, and that will weigh on you mentally. Okay? That will weigh on you mentally. Okay? So again, you've got to be able to play the mind game. The buy and the sells are going to be so easy, especially when you have, you know, we're charting it, we're giving you stuff. It's what you do after you hit buy or sell. That will determine your success in 2024, 100%. Okay. The buy and sell is so easy. Okay. It's what you do with it. It's, do you know when to get out? Right. It's not 1,000 pips in a stop loss, and then you have to hold something for months and you're just praying every day. That wears on your stress. That wears on you, which then that wears on your family. That wears on your well-being. That wears on your eating habits. That wears on your drinking habits. All of that plays a major role. So let's make 2024, right, the year of change for you. If you've come from heavy losses, stress, let's grab some pips, points, ticks, clicks, whatever you want to call them. Let's secure the bag and let's grow. We are going to be doing a member training. I should have that out by tomorrow with a date and time. I hope all of you can join the live session, we're going to do a growth session together. Okay. How to grow your accounts. I'm going to show you different examples. I'm going to show you some tools online that you can use to give you a plan. If you don't trade without a plan, you can probably plan to fail. You got to know when to get in and when to get out. Okay. So we are going to be doing that coming up. You've got to understand that. Listen, you've got to start from humble beginnings, right? Don't trade from desperation, but trade from inspiration, meaning what are you inspired to do? What are your goals for you and your family, right? What are your realistic growth charts, weekly and monthly? I don't even want to use the word daily, okay? Weekly and monthly, just like the banks give you a bank statement. If you can retune the brain, you can do some amazing things in 2024, okay? If you're desperate to jump into setups that are just not there or they've already left the station, wait. Trust me, we're going to give you enough value and setups here on different spectrums that you will be able to be profitable, but you've got to be patient. You've got to be patient, okay? For those of you that are brand new, let me remind you that for my first 3 to 3.5 years, I completely sucked as a trader, okay? I was profitable in year 3, finally, like real profitable, right? Not making $50 or $100. In year 3 is really where it began to kick off. I'm now in year 8, okay? Most people that started with me quit after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, because they thought that this was like, you know, an ATM, automated teller machine. You just go in, put your card, say, I want to take out $100, and it's going to give you $100. Okay. So, yeah, I'll be posting all the charts afterwards. Okay. So again, even if you took even if you took a big loss in 2023, it's kind of like, we've got to move on from, this is kind of the analogy that I use all the time, right? When we're born as babies. We don't know much, right? We're born out of the mother's womb. And the first thing we do is we learn how to eventually sit up, and we fall and we get back up. We sit up, we fall. Then we learn how to walk. And when we learn how to walk as young people, we stumble, we hit tables. We're not very good at it, but we continue doing it until we get better, right? And then we go into grade school. We don't know how to write and we don't know how to add, but someone teaches us. And school, in most countries, I don't know, at least in the United States, right? It's 12 years for you to say, hey, we've given you enough of the skills to be able to hopefully go off to college or university if that's for you. And then we hope that in 4 years, you can get your first degree in college. So in essence, 16 years between you start out of the womb till you get a college degree, if everything goes right, okay, 16 years or so, okay, roughly, of that process is all learning. But everybody wants to learn trading in 30 days. That's the problem, right? Everyone wants to learn trading in 30 days. Nobody wants to trade on demo because it's a fake account and it's now real money. And that's where you learn, right? Now, the only thing you do not learn on, I'm going to get rid of this real quick here. The only thing you do not learn on demo is emotions, because it's not your money, right? Everybody on demo accounts, right, trades like they're multimillionaires, right? So if you're going to go on demo, trade what a realistic account will look like. For me, when I started, right, it was $100. That's what I started with, $100 in a Forex account. I was trading 10 cents a pip. I was making $2 a day, $1.50 a day. I would lose $3. I would make $2, right? For me, when I had my first $50 a week, I was like, wow, I just made $50. It's possible, right? So I knew there was hope, right? But I just got disastrous. I had no coaching. I had no mentoring. First 2 years, I was all over the place, right? Trying to chase every trade, 10,000 indicators, 10,000 Telegram groups, 10,000 Discord groups. And next thing I knew, I was failure. I was a complete failure my first 2.5 to 3 years, okay? Until I focused in, got into one mentor, one group, and just said, this is it. I'm going to learn this thing right here, okay? And that's what started my acceleration process, okay? But we've all been there. We've all made mistakes. It's okay, right? We've all been there. But you've got to start humble, right? Put $100 in an account and start trading 10 cents. Forget the dollar amount. And I keep talking. I just had a private coaching session with someone yesterday, right? who's ecstatic because they were so worried about the dollar amount. When I showed them how much percentage they made in their first 30 days in this group, right? They increased by 17%. Folks, I don't know about you, but you're not going to get not even 1% at a bank. You're not going to get even 2%, you're lucky, on a certificate of deposit nowadays on a bank or any interest rate, right? The S&P averages 10 to 20% a year historically is what's been happening. So if you made 17% in a month, like you should almost stop trading for the next 4 months, right? To just even out your account because you can't expect 17% every month. So focusing on the percentages, right? That is where the value is. I have a couple of friends of mine that trade multi-million-dollar accounts for big clients. Their goal, now they're multi-million-dollar accounts, I get that. But their goal to keep their client happy, the client only wants a 0.5. Let me say that again, a 0.5% a month. Now, of course, if you take 0.5% on a multi-million-dollar account, you are just living off interest. But that's how you have to rewire your brain. If you can grab 1 to 2% a month on the low end, wow, that is amazing, especially when you're first starting, or even if you're into this. Like, that is where you should be, right? Because imagine when your account hits 10,000 and you do 1% a month, right? So that's a little bit extra value, right? And that means that you're risking with the right risk management. You got the right lot sizes. So let's rewire our brain, and I'll be doing more about this. Let's rewire our brain to stop focusing in on daily pips, clicks, ticks. Where are you at the end of the month percentage-wise? Then you go back and say, okay, what do I need to fix? Did I overtrade? Did I over lot size? Did I not close winning trades? I let this trade open. It was up 40 ticks, clicks, pips, and I got busy. I didn't move a stop loss, and it turned around and knocked me out of break even. I just gave up 40 pips because I wasn't disciplined on how to manage my trade. That's what you should be focusing on, right? I'm going to get you into trades. That's going to be the easy part. It's what you do afterwards, right? I can't, extend my arm into where you live on your phone and click take profits for you. You've got to do that. We want to build your confidence to do that as well. Okay, so let's kind of get back into the charts here, and we'll be doing more of that kind of good stuff. So, oil is not moving right now. Okay, oil is not moving right now. Now, again, I'm going to clear this up, and let's kind of do a big perspective before we kind of, go here. Okay, let's go move this back here, and then I'll give you some price points. So right now, price is at 71.57 on this TradingView chart. In the near future here, I will be doing some videos inside of the futures account as well for those folks that trade futures with a current contract. We'll be doing that as well, but the price action for now should be pretty much the same. So let's use my method of trading. And I think I mentioned this to someone in the chats the other day. When I learned this, it was like, okay, right? I told you about all the failure at the beginning. Many of you have heard this acronym, so it's not mine. I'm stealing it from somebody, right? I use the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, stupid, right? So I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I know enough to say when I got to keep it simple, right? There's a time to get complex, and there's a time to keep it simple. So we are just going to do this right now, just to give you some perspective, right? That's been our high, and that's been our low in this recent area, right? I really don't care about what happened all the way back in July of 2023 because that has no relevance to me right now, right? I'm trading for this week. I'm not trading what happened in July 2023, and a lot of people make that mistake. So this is a starting point. This is how I start. This is how I begin to look at the market and say, okay, where are we right here? We're in this area, and I have breathing room on my right for what is going to come up next. Okay, so high, which is created on December 26th, this low, which is created on December 13th, right? We're still in January. We're mid-January, so it is still relevant, right? This started the swing high. This rejected and started downswing low. And now we begin to kind of do this little macro area right in here. And this is how simple it could become, right? Now I want to go to a little bit more of a recent time frame, and that's my high, and this is my low. Now I begin to zero in on what the market is doing right in here, right? This gives me perspective. So for those of you maybe on smaller devices, this top area, just call it 76. This top area or this bottom area, let's just call it 67.50. This top area right here, 74.20. And this bottom area, 69.26. Okay. So now we begin to trap price, right? For those of you that are intraday, we begin to trap price. Many of you want to swing trade. That's awesome, right? Gives you perspective, right? This was the area that we began to take that initial buy from on that setup that you saw at the beginning of the video. So now we know that no matter what happens, we have to understand that this is a level that we're going to respect if we come back up to 74.15, right? And then we are going to respect this level at about 69.20 or so, because we've already have an initial touch here. I can go to the left and I can see previous support and resistance, right? Doesn't really matter right now. I'm going to automatically respect it because I have an area of supply and demand where price came down and reacted big, right? It wasn't just an initial push. When you see a big push like that, 1, 2, 3 candles, that is a nice supply and demand zone. Same thing right here. We had a big push here down, and then we had the same push here down again. So now, okay, that's like a happy face. We had this, what you'll hear me say sometimes. Again, this is not a trading strategy. It's just something to observe. Yes, this does happen a lot. We get this teacup where price comes down, comes back to the exact same area, right? Makes a happy face, smile, and then it gives us our handle of a cup. Okay, that's called a teacup. You may have heard that referred to before or not. So we can begin to kind of take a look at, hey, Suhir, congratulations. Hey, you got it. You can begin to see where price is reacting there, right? So now we begin to say, okay, where is price? Now we begin to look at our possible intraday perspective. So now that I have price, and again, this is a big area, 69 to 74, right? That's 500 points, clicks, ticks, whatever floats your boat in price movement, right? In price action, right? But because we're sitting on an 8-hour chart, right? We're sitting on an 8-hour chart. So now we begin to look and say, okay, we have not been able to make a new high here, right? This is why price fell. We were not able to make a new high up in this area, right? So now that we look at this, we can say, I don't know why my chart does that sometimes. We can begin to say, okay, on a bigger scale, let me grab this here, right? On a bigger scale, now that we zoom kind of out here, right? We saw price creeping up. It hit the roof and began to fall down. It hit a floor and it came back up, right? And so we're kind of in this kind of a unknown area now because there's not a lot of volume going on. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the calendar, but tomorrow is what, Wednesday? Tomorrow's Wednesday. I believe it should be crude oil inventories tomorrow. I know sometimes they change it to Thursdays. But again, even with that now we begin to dissect, right, our game plan. So we are in a bit of consolidation when it comes to the larger perspectives, right, in this crude oil area here. So and when we drop down to the 4, right, you can see it a little bit clearer, right? We have not made a new low, but we have not made a new high. So now we begin to kind of trap price in here right now. We kind of understand what our floor is, and we kind of understand what the roof is when it comes to the 4. Here's the view from the 1 hour. And then we begin to kind of dissect this, right, in terms of where is my less risk, right? Where would I want to get an entry with the least amount of risk? Meaning if I had to get out, I reduce my risk, okay? And so now that we look at this 1 hour, we know prices come here before to this 69. We're sitting at 71. And so a lot of you right now are like this. You are like dying to hit buy or sell. You are dying to get into a trade right now. Unless you're swing trading this already to the top side, right? You're just dying. Well, there's nothing going on right now, right? There's nothing going on because now we can take a look that on a 1 hour level, right? Now we begin to change the narrative and saying, okay, this is a 1 hour level that we have to respect because we've been here on multiple occasions, okay? And I like to get a little colorish sometimes, so we'll make that yellow, right? So now you ask yourself, okay, wait a minute, Armando, wait a minute. I know this was the low they touched, but I know they've come here already 4 times, right? Will they knock 5, 6, 7 times? Sometimes they don't. So this is where you can begin to get a game plan for yourself, and you can do one of 2 things, okay? Here's what you can do. And what time is it? I've got to go pick up some school pants for my little guy. Okay, so here's what you can do. If price comes back to this level that's rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? You say, okay, that's a level that you have to look at, right? You can begin now to say, okay, let me look at a fib level, right? If this is a healthy retracement, okay, we took this swing, we took this low point where price began to go up. That's why I take the low point, okay, in this newer push up, and I go to the high, which is that wick right here, and I'm just going to draw a fib level, okay? And now I got a fib level. So now I can begin to say, okay, now the last thing I do is, again, remember I told you, I like to look for candles where there are no wicks like this, okay? And again, for those of you at home or on smaller devices, right, this top fib level is 72.93 or 73 roughly, and this bottom fib level at the 100% is about 70.50, okay? And then I begin to develop a game plan and say, okay, I don't see too much wicking here, so I know this is liquidity. There's a lot of liquidity here in these 2 candles, right? So more than likely, they're going to come back down here to at least mid candle here to grab some liquidity. But this candle right here also has almost no wicks on either side, okay? So this price point is the 88.60, which is about 70.74, okay? And you see me draw charts over and over, and I say, okay, I always like this bottom area, right, a little bit deeper, because you know, hey, if you can get a hamburger for 50 cents or a hamburger for $2, right, what would you pay? Would you pay 50 cents or would you pay $2? Okay, you'd probably pay 50 cents, right? You probably pay 50 cents. So now I begin to say, okay, I'm going to wait to see, especially, you know, whether I had made my pips or not, I'm not going to rush into something. I'm either going to get into a high probability trade or I just don't trade, right? Eventually, it's going to come to my area, whether it's today or tomorrow, right? And sometimes I readjust because I don't know what's going to happen. It's now 10:30 a.m. I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the day because after 11:30 a.m., I don't get my time, which is now 10:30, right? If I was to get into a new trade, okay, after 11:30 a.m., I am not getting into any new trade. I let the afternoon do what they got to do because it lets me know where price is going to close at the end of the market today, right? I don't get into any new trades. That's particularly why I'm not a London trader. I just see so many false moves on London, which is my London, which is 3 o'clock in the morning for me, Miami time. It might be daytime for you. I just particularly don't like that session. I've been very successful sticking to about 6 a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m. looking for the 2 setups that I need for the day there. Now, unless I have a limit order overnight, which you hear me say, hey, I'm going to put a limit order, right? Kind of like what happened last night on natural gas. I put a limit order and it closed, type of thing. Then I only trade live on the U.S. session. I find more value in this crossover of London, U.S., which is between 8 a.m. and noon, where you get to cross over the 2 sessions because London closes at 12 noon and I don't enter any new trades after 11:30 a.m. So I kind of have that window where I wake up around 6:30, get a cup of coffee, respond to some messages if anybody's messaged me, and then I'll start looking at the markets if no limit orders have activated overnight, and then we look at a game plan for the day. That's kind of the way I structure my day, right? My goal is by 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, I've got my 40 pips for the day, whether it happened overnight or in the morning, or I got my setup for the day, and that's it. That's all I look for on crude oil per day. 40, 20 ticks, 40 pips, 40 clicks, ticks, whatever you want to call it. If I don't get 40, I don't get 40. If I get 20, I get 20. If I get 10, I get 10, right? Where am I at the end of the month? That's what I concern. Okay, that's what I'm focused on. Where am I at the end of the month? So now price is coming down. We understand fib levels. We understand zones. Now, what this allows me to do is to say, okay, I have different ways that I can approach that, right? The most conservative way is if we make a new low down here, we talked about it, then price is probably going to go lower. Until then, right, I can look at this as so many different ways. I want to take it back up, for example, to these highs here, to the zero line, which is right here, right? So now my risk, if you look over here on the right, okay, look over here. I'm going to be moving this chart around a little bit. Look over here, okay? I can determine my risk level. If I'm a diehard 61.8 trader and I don't mind having a little bit of drawdown, well, then that becomes a 1 to 2 scenario, okay? Understanding that the daily candle today was a green bullish candle. So this is a retracement, right? This is a retracement. If I want to be less aggressive because I like this zone, which I do down here because of these candles that I talk about, I can then lower my risk, okay? Because your risk is going to have to be below this yellow box, these wicks right in here, okay? If you don't want to make it too tight, because if you make it right here at the 88, okay, more than likely it's going to go there anyways because of this liquidity candle, right? So you can increase this a little bit more, right? And then now you have wiggle room. If you trust the 61.8, which is a great fib level, by the way, right? That it could bounce off there again, you take here. I only go a little bit deeper here because of these candles, okay? I see liquidity in these candles. I see them pushing deeper, and that gives me a better price point, right? Not only is it a zone, right, but it pushes deeper into their liquidity candle. So now this scenario goes to a 2.2 to 1, right? A much better scenario. So if you like the 61.8 and you don't mind maybe going into some drawdown, right, then your entry is basically now. Like if you're looking to get in now to scalp 20 points, right? This is going to be a scalping method, right? Because the long is still open in that long swing trade, right? This is your 20-point scalp at the 61.8. If you want to be more conservative, you wait a little bit deeper into see if it retests the top of the zone, which is about 71 even. Okay, 71 even for those of you on smaller devices. So the 61.8 is now 71, well, not now, about 71.37. It's at 71.56 right now. Or you see if you get a deeper retracement to about 71, 71.03, somewhere in this area. And so you can see here on the right that depending on my entry, I either increase my risk or I reduce my risk, depending on how conservative you want to be on these levels, right? So anywhere between here, which is 71.36, down to 70.86, you have an area to decide where do you want to scalp looking at price action, right? And again, you don't have to sit on this time frame. You can look at here, and then you can drop all the way back to the 5-minute. And now here on the 5-minute, right, that might be your entry, right? That was the fib level that I came down to. And there it just took off. And that's already 20 points. Like that's how quickly we scalp. That's how quickly at least I scalp, right? I only need one 5-minute candle to give me 20, 20, 40. I'm done for the day, right? So whether that's $2 or $200,000, right, doesn't really matter. It's how you get in, right? It's how you get in and where you can catch your pips or your points based on a plan, right? That took about 20 minutes to explain, and it was kind of a plan, right? So sometimes you get in at the right time. Sometimes it doesn't hit your entry. Not a big deal. There will be times where it'll hit your entry if you're more conservative or if you're not more conservative, whatever the case may be, right? And now that you have your fib levels marked up, here's the beauty about it, that even on a smaller time frame, whew, man, I hope you guys are catching this value. That even on a smaller time frame, the fib levels work as support and resistance, right? They work as support and resistance. Here was your area. Here's the same area right now that you're in right now. Again, it's never an exact line, right? We already saw here before that we wicked once, twice. We just wicked there again, right? Now, if we get a big candle to close up here higher, then you're going to look for this scenario, right? When maybe come down, retest, and go back up higher, right? But as of right now on the 5-minute, we did not make a new high up here, right? We did not make a new high up here. So now are we starting to walk back down to these levels on the 5-minute? Or are we going to head back up for the rest of the afternoon to make a new high on the 5-minute, right? So that's where the multi-time frame analysis works. Is scalping harder than just saying, oh, the hell with it, I'm going for a swing trade? Yeah, it could be, right? It could be. You got to be a little bit more disciplined because you're working in smaller increments and smaller areas, right? But now that I see this big push candle here, right, then what I look for is, okay, for those of you that are just dying to do something, right, we just came and wicked here, right? Where would be the next possible buy area? Would be down here if you're going to wait on the fib level, but we are at a zone here where price has reacted and then continued back up. We already know that for today, the daily candle again was a bullish green candle. So anything on the lower time frames, they're retracements, right? They're retracements. So if you look at this perspective now, right, this area here is 72 that just rejected again a third time. But on a smaller time frame, there it is. It just rejected again, right? We are coming back down, right? We are coming back down. Now, this 72 is even on a small time frame, has been a strong area of what? Support and resistance. There it is. There it is. Resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance. So guess what? That is an area that you have to respect, right? On any time frame, but especially if you're on a lower time frame. So now, as price begins to pull back down, right, you have to wait to see if this current candle or this next wave is going to close lower than here. Because if it closes lower, then guess what? You are set up for massive success to take a buy from here. Because if this creates a lower low down here, right, then you know what's going to happen. Every time a lower low is created, we do get a rise up, a lower low, rise up, right? But right now, if we get this candle to close above 72, then we will probably go back up to test the highs of 72.90 that happened at 8:35 in the morning, right? So it seems like a lot, but the more you do this and the more you just kind of sit down and slow things down, this is why the trading part becomes easy. You can come in here and, this is why I can make those bold guarantees. Listen, your membership, I'm just going to call it whatever your monthly membership is, right? Whether you're on the old plan 26 or the new plan 28, like this is why I can guarantee we're going to get you, if you're trading at least $1 or even 50 cents, right? You're going to get 40, 50, you might get 100 pips a day sometimes on these trade setups just on crude oil, right? Because I've learned how to analyze this quick enough to be able to spit that out, whether you're a swing trader. So I want to give people opportunities to swing trade because a lot of folks are busy, they're working, and that's awesome. Be thankful and grateful that you have a job, right? I hate people that knock people that work and try to do something else. I cannot stand it, right? You will never hear me say, right, quit your job sucks, you're a loser because you work. Be grateful that you have a job. Be grateful that you have a job, right? Because I did for a long, long time, right? Now I still teach for the university and stuff like that, part-time online, but be grateful because that's what helps you fund your trading account. That's what helps you and your family. So anybody who knocks people that work, this Forex lifestyle, bunch of crap, right? Learn this. Hopefully your goal is that one day you can just do this. But in the meantime, just be grateful and thankful exactly where you are right now. That's exactly where you need to be. Never knock a job. Whether you like your job or not, I always tell people there is something for you to learn at every job you have, right? There is a skill set. There is a life lesson. There is a friend that you make that will be your bestie forever. There is something you can take away from every job and every profession. So I'm not, I'm always glass half full. I hate when people say, I hate my job. You may not like your situation, but be thankful that you have a job. Be thankful that you have income coming in, because there's a lot of people that would trade places with you. There's a lot of people that would trade places for you. So never, ever knock a job or people who work. Never, ever do that. Never, ever do that. Okay. So, yeah, good point. Good point. Don, waiting for candle closures, is part of the process as well, right? Do I always wait for a candle closure on a scalping? Well, maybe I just want to grab 5 points or 10 points, because if you grab 5 points, right, 4 or 5 times a day, there's your 20, right? So yes, on a bigger time frame, it's important to wait for candle closures because candles can go in any direction. But these are the kind of things that, as you have a little bit more experience scalping, right, 10, 15, 20 points at a time, right, you only need a wick, right? You only need a wick. But right now you can see here that price failed to close higher, right? So we will see on this candle now, which is the 1045 candle that just started on this 5 minute, right, whether we go higher or lower, right? Everything right now is pointing to we are going to possibly go back lower into at least this area of the Fibonacci levels, okay, of the Fibonacci levels, which is 7150 or so, okay? Now, 7150 is this 88.6, right? We came here and we wicked, right? The key here now is we are, and again, this is where a lot of people don't understand, we are in the last 15 minutes of an active 1 hour candle, right? There's our 1 hour candle, very indecisive, went up to 7204, came down to 7449. So, now is a little bit risky because it can go in either direction. But if we drop to the 5 minute, right, we begin to see price action. So this has been our low at 7136, right? Where will the candle end up? We don't know, right? We don't know what's going to happen over the next 15 minutes. What I do know is because the momentum is changing here, okay, but on a bigger time frame, okay, okay, where's my daily? We are still bullish, okay, as far as the daily candle, okay, not the current price action, the daily candle, right? If somebody needed 20 pips, like this is where I'd be waiting. I'd be waiting now for price to come back down into this yellow area that we identified earlier on the higher time frame, right? Into this 7100 area, because that would create a lower low. It would also knock out this liquidity. And again, we gave you that risk to reward on a much higher time frame, right? So this would be, for me, the next buy area if you wanted to try to scalp 15 to 20 points at the end of the day, okay, or whenever this happens down in here. As you can see, there's a lot of unknown on the other candles, right? On the other candles. What we do know right now is that 72 has rejected multiple times. And let's see if this creates a lower low, because if it creates a lower low just based on this pattern, then we know there's going to be a reaction down here, okay, to be able to scalp crude oil. And then after that, we wait until the day tells us where it's going to go, right? Where that candle is going to close. Because based on the current day time frame, if that wick continues to get smaller and that green box continues to get smaller, that means there's a lot of selling pressure. We'll take a look at the candle pattern when it closes for the day, right? It could mean initially we go down a little bit more and then we go higher, but we don't know that, right? So I'm always going to be honest with you. If you ask me a question, hey, are we going to get to 65? My answer is going to be, I don't know. Hey, are we going to get to 75? My answer is going to be, I don't know, because nobody knows. If I knew, I would put my dog on my next trade. No, I would never put my dog. Where is my dog? Have you guys seen my dog, by the way? Let me show you Molly, where are you? Where are you? Molly, come here. Come here. Hold on. Let me show you Molly real quick. Molly, come here. Where are you, Molly? Come here, Molly. What are you doing sleeping under my desk again? You're always sleeping under my desk. Come here. Say hello. Oh, so here is my golden doodle, my trading partner right here. Oh, the camera moved. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, follow me again. Candle, follow me again. Hold on, I screwed this up. It's supposed to, okay, anyways. There is Molly, our little beautiful golden doodle. Molly, you say hi. You say hi. You say hi. You say hi. Let me see if I can get this thing to move with me again. All right, hold on one second. Oh, it's tracking you, Molly. That's our little Molly right there. Say hi, Mama. Say hi, little girl. Say hi, little girl. You're a golden doodle. Oh, I'm exposing you. All right. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Let me fix this camera real quick. All right. We're going to be finishing the stream here in a minute. That was Molly. That was my little girl. All right, cool. So let's see where we're at. Yeah, that's my trading partner. All right, cool. So let's go back over here. All right, so that's it for crude oil. All right, we're wait. If you are looking to scalp for the rest of today, again, this would be the area. We are inclining down now on this current chart here. So again, this would be the area where this candle sits here. Okay, getting in beforehand is a little riskier. This is a fib level right in here. But again, based on the current price action, we should see hopefully a little bit further down movement. And then that would give you a good opportunity down in here at around 71.10 or so. Okay, because I don't think this current candle is going to close above 72. And then lastly, for those of you that are real diehard scalpers, now what you do is in a smaller time frame, you trap price. Say, okay, sometimes I sit within these zones and I can scalp at a 5-minute chart because my exit would be like so quick, like 4 pips, right? Came here before, right? It would be like 3 pips, 3 ticks, whatever you want to call it, right? See what it does. This is the ideal spot, right? But now we could just be ranging here. You know why? Because it's going to be 11 o'clock in the morning, right? There might be one more small push, but we might just range here for a while, right? Brokers are closing up. The market's going to lunch. There won't be a lot of transaction. Volume is probably low. So you might just sit here. Sometimes we have sat here on previous live sessions and just scalped a zone like this, 5 or 6 up, 5 or 6 down, 5 or 6 up, 5 or 6 down. Boom. A little extra grocery money. Okay. But again, this would be the ideal place to see if it makes a lower low and then be able to get that retracement here. Okay. If we don't make a lower low, then of course we can expect price to come back up, probably to tap that 72 again. Remember, on the daily candle, okay, on the daily candle, we are still bullish. Okay. The candle is not flipped. We are still bullish. So these are retracements on smaller time frames. Okay. Going down into whatever key level they want to go to. But again, this 71 would be a key level. Like this is really where I will look as you go down. Okay. All right. I saw somebody's comment on. Yeah, you're welcome, Daisy. You're welcome. Yeah, and again, depending on where you are in the world, 9 o'clock in Pakistan, right? Whatever time that is for you, I believe the markets obviously will be open for you guys as well, wherever you're at. But again, coming up here in the next 30, 40 minutes, like I personally wouldn't get into any new trade during lunch. A lot of times it becomes automated by the stocks, by the market makers. So it can go up 10, down 10, up 10, down 10. So again, you might be able to look at that. But again, that's where I would look, right? You've got 2 areas that we just gave you here. Helmet, I've got to go, but let me just pop up the natural gas chart for you real quick. So if anybody needs to take a quick screenshot of this, you can take a quick screenshot of that. We talked about this is the ideal area down in here, starting at about 71.10 or so. This area that's rejected here is 71.36, 37. Okay. If you're looking to maybe get this same type of pattern to happen again, that would be here, pretty much where we're at now, where we just tapped the 100 fib level again. So, it would be right around here to see if you can get this to come back up, because on this 5-minute candle, it is 8 minutes until the candle fully closes. On the 1 hour, you might see a push back down, but either way, that's your that could be your 2 game plans depending on what you're doing. And their price is moving exactly as it should be moving if it's going to make a new low down into this area. Okay, so if you were going to try to take a scalp now, this would be the place where you take the scalp now. Okay, this would be the place where you take a scalp now, try to get as many points as you can, understanding that if it goes below the 127 line, which is 71.28, you should probably close. And there you go. We just got a nice rejection right there. That was about a 14-point rejection so far. Okay. You would have to close at the 127, because if it closes below the 127, it's going to come down into our zone. Okay. And that's how quickly you can scalp. 10 points 2 times a day is 20 points. So when you hear me say 20, listen, you don't have to wait 20. If you like 10, close 10. If you do 10 4 times, that's 40 points, right? That's the beauty about oil, that the wicks itself can give you. This is why you have to have a broker with lower spreads, right? Use whatever brokers you all want. My broker on oil is either 0 or 1 spread. That's it, depending on if you're in market or out of market. That's on the Forex side. Obviously, with Thinkorswim, same thing. There is no spread, right? You're just paying the commission fee type of thing. So you definitely need brokers that can get you in the money as quickly as possible if you're going to scalp. If you're swing trading, you can have 2 or 3 pips, whatever. But if you're going to scalp, you don't want a 10-pip spread, because you're already in the whole 10 pips, right? So now if you're going to grab 20, you really got to grab 30. The 10 that you're down on your spread, and then the 20 of profit. So it does make a difference on your broker. Your broker does matter, especially if you're going to try, and scalp or what have you. Okay. Any final questions? Okay, cool. All right, let me jump over to Natty real quick. And then, wow, look at the indices are really falling today. 240 on the Dow. Good. Get ready for some good entries. Okay, so let's see what is there to say. I mean, hey, I know I've already cashed out. That was our sell area. There's our beautiful wick, right? We came into that area that we talked about, which was deeper, right? Here's our 78.6 area. There's our 88.6, right? And so I know that the day candle is bullish. Yep. So it did a retracement, but it gave us what we needed. At least it gave me what I needed, right? That was my entry, right? That was my entry. So now you have to kind of expect that, is it going to make a new high, right? Is it going to make a new high? We are trending up on natty gas, right? The question is, where will happen at the end of the day, right? We will definitely continue to go higher if we close above this 3.07, right? If we get a candle to close up here over the 100 level, right, then we're going higher. That is kind of the key level, the 100%. Okay. In the meantime, these are the levels. Like, I wouldn't be getting into anything now because it's late in the day, but those would be the key levels, right? That would be the key level there. We have a zone here because we came here already. So this will change the trend. You see how we came down almost to the teacup, right? Will we get the teacup, right? Based on price action, we probably will go higher unless this is it, right? If this candle starts to come down, then no. But if we go here and we create a new 8-hour candle up here, then we're coming up to the 100 level at least. And then we got to wait to see what happens at this 3.070, right? We're still bullish on the day candle. So we are trending up when it comes to that, right? So again, this is why I like to kind of do a whole wide out and then say, okay, are we going to get that teacup back up and then give us a handle back down? But in the meantime, we always trade what we see, not what we think, right? And that gets a lot of people in trouble because they watch or they read 10,000 news reports. Remember, if everybody is telling you to sell, you should probably be buying. Okay. If everybody's saying that the stock market at the end of 2023, everything between October and December said the stock market was going to crash. Everybody's podcast, everybody on every news outlet, every guru said we were heading into a stock market crash. the market grew higher and higher and higher. And I'm sure a lot of people lost a lot of money, or a lot of people lost their accounts on the indices because all they did was go off what they're reading, right? If everybody is doing something, the market will do opposite. Okay, the market will do opposite. So I want to be the person that goes opposite, right? I want to be the person. If I see 1,000 entries on buys, I'm going to look for a sell, because the market makers see that. They see the order blocks. They see the order blocks, right? That's why stop losses go to certain areas, because there's so many people sitting in the same spot, right? So that's why, right? Because 10,000 people are on a particular channel. Okay, everybody, put your stop loss at 3.15. 10,000 orders go there. Where do you think the market's going to go? They're going to go there. They're going to go there. So, just a little FYI and that kind of stuff. So yeah, not much again going on with natural gas. You're going to have to wait to see, right? We did create a new high right here with that candle, from that candle. So now we have to wait. If we create a new candle up here, then, obviously we're going to come back up to the 100. Right, when it comes to the 100, so we have to wait. We're kind of in a waiting pattern now. Okay, and again, I'm one of those more fairly new to trading nat gas. I understand that people call it the widowmaker. I trade the same conservative lot sizes that I do here with the other ones until I will continue to research and fully learn this more and more. Right, I learned oil for 3 years, and so I'll continue to look at this. But when you look at the big patterns, right? Look what these fib levels left off at, right at the highs, right? So we have that area, we have that macro area, and then we have this area right in here, which is the 127. I'm probably going to go up a little bit higher here on this. Yep. Okay, so those are kind of our levels that we are sitting at right now, the bigger levels that we are looking at when it comes to natural gas. So let's see what it does, but we don't know. Right, I can't tell you it's going to melt from here down, because this is an active candle and we don't know where the day is going to close. Right, this is why in the afternoon, go for a walk, go for a jog. 9 o'clock in Pakistan, go watch a good movie on Netflix. Call it a day. We'll do it again tomorrow. All right, we'll do it again tomorrow. Okay. But not grains. Yeah, 0.3C a good spread. That sounds like a good spread, right? That sounds like a good spread, but yeah. All right, guys, we've been streaming for a little bit over an hour. So any other charts, I will put in there. Again, not a big deal. On this app, I incur the cost of the live stream. So these live streams do cost me. So for me, it's not a big deal. So I'd rather go in-app live as much as possible. We'll do some YouTube lives every once in a while to change it out. Sometimes I'll multicast for those folks that, on the other platforms. But for the most part, we will definitely keep this in-app session. That's what you're paying for, and that's the value I want to give you. But sometimes I will simulcast this on other networks as well. Harry, I see your message. I'll try to put up a Go chart a little bit later. I've got to go do some stuff for my son, pick up some more uniforms, and then go pick him up from school in a few hours as well. And here, you got to make that car line nice and early. So I do take my laptop with me. So I'll try to put out a couple of charts while sitting in the car line for a little bit. Remember, be kind to someone today. It could be a text message. It could be a hello. It could be a hug. It could be buying a cup of coffee for someone that you absolutely do not know, right? You'll hear me say originally, what you celebrate, you accelerate. Celebrate each other's successes. Also support each other when they're struggling, right? You may have a season here where you have a couple bad days or a couple bad weeks. Doesn't mean you're a bad trader, right? We're all going to have seasons, good seasons and sometimes not so good seasons. Keep it positive in the chats. Help each other out. I can't be on the chats 24/7 because if I don't have my rest, I'm not going to give you good value. But as you can see, I'm on there a lot. Okay, but help each other out. If somebody asks a question, if you don't know it, try to find it for them. Like somebody did, I think Donald did that. Don Twist gave a reference the other day. So help each other out. I know we're on different time zones, okay? But whenever you can, help each other out. But go out and do something nice for someone. If not today, this week. There's a way that the universe pays you back, okay? I've been doing something for quite a while. I'm not really even real big on social media type of thing. And I don't post these things on social media. But, there's certain days of the week that I go out to my favorite coffee shop, and whether it's a drive-through line or in store, right, I'll just routinely just pay for a meal for someone. They don't know who it is. I don't say, hey, it's me. That's not the way I learned how to, be gracious to people. That's not my faith also, okay? I'm from a Christian faith, a Catholic faith, and, and in my word, it says to go out and do good deeds, but don't publish them to the world. Okay, and I truly believe in that as well. So yeah, everybody wants to be patted in the back every once in a while, and it's good because if you can show other people that you're being kind to someone, hopefully it could spread, but you don't need to do it every time. You can go out and just be kind to folks. And that's kind of why, I've kept this price point where it is, because I didn't want people in other countries, in our country, to miss out. Not everybody can afford these $90 Discords, $300 courses, $1,000 mentoring. Like, that's ridiculous, right? That's not the average person. The average person is paycheck to paycheck or struggling, maybe have a little money saved up, right? So to me, this is a fair enough price point that you can come in, I can give you value, you're going to make your money back, and then some. You could be happy and you can grow for you and your family. This is about not making all this crazy money. This is about giving you and your family, whatever that family looks like for you, the experiences. Right? I travel a lot, not because of the money, because I want to give my kids experience to go see all these countries that we've been to. We cruise a lot. We got a Europe cruise coming up now in March again, right? Because I want to give them experiences, because I don't know what's going to happen in their life in 20, 30 years. I may not be around in 20 or 30 years. So I want to give them the experiences. Ever since I became profitable in Forex, that money is all for what I call experiences, right? Whether you want to call them vacation experiences, I want to be able to expose my kids to different cultures, to different foods, to different people, to different things, because I don't know, and they all have learned to trade and they do this. My older son does this, been doing this full time for a long time. So I want to be able to give them experiences, because I don't know. I truly believe we should leave the next generation better. My parents did the best they can. They came from a communist Cuba. They came here and worked hard, opened up businesses, raised a family of 4. My brother, my older brother, my 2 older sisters, right? I learned hard work ethic, but I also learned about compassion and giving back through my parents. So I owe it to them to pay it forward. And then I owe it to my kids not to spoil them, but to show them experiences, where hard work gets you, how helping people, whether you get credit for it or not, the universe has a way of repaying you back, right? So again, go out and do something nice for someone this week. It could be a stranger. It could be a loved one that you haven't talked to in a while because you are mad at them. Take the first step and say, hey, I'm sorry. Even if you have to apologize for something you don't feel you did, apologize. Start that conversation. Life is too short to live miserable or hating people. Like, we don't use that word in this family. If I hear my kids saying, oh, I hate this ice cream, I completely nix that right there, right? We don't want that word in this family, right? We don't believe in that. We don't have to like everything, right? But we're not going to go to the extreme of hating something. But go out and start a conversation with someone. Reach out to a friend you haven't talked to in a while, okay? As a matter of fact, I just reconnected with a friend of mine at this last football game on Sunday night, who we went to grade school together. I haven't seen this guy in like 40 years, but he says I look the same. I don't think I had a beard in kindergarten, but we reconnected. It's so good. We exchanged numbers. We're having lunch on Friday. That to me is more important. For me, what matters most are relationships and community over anything else, right? If I didn't make any money trading and I can give you value for you to make money, I would be just as happy, honestly. Now, I've got other streams of income that I've secured coming in, but if I can come here and I made no money, sometimes I miss trades because I'm in a live session with you, or like right now, I could have done something here. I didn't do anything, right? That to me is more important. Okay. So friends, family, your dog, your cat, your cow, whatever that looks like, right? Give them some love. Give them some love today. All right. We'll see you soon. And once this recording is over, I'll be posting the recording here in the live stream. You'll see it on a feed in case you want to go back, rewatch it. Maybe it's just how I drew up the Fibonacci's, things of that nature, or at the beginning that we talked about going in 2 entries, half the contract, half the lot size, securing profits. letting one runner, all those good things at the beginning of today's video. Okay, we shall see you soon. Have a great day.